This video is brought to you by the Ridge wallet, guys. This incredible wallet, it's light, sleek, and industrial, and it doesn't fold or awkwardly bulge out of your back pocket. It goes in your front pocket, and in fairness, it will seriously change your pocket game. If you've moved on from the flip phone, don't you think it's time to let that 90s style wallet that your dad uses behind? Ridge wallets hold to 12 cards, plus all the cash that you need. You can choose from over 30 colors and styles. That includes carbon fiber and burnt titanium. It is the best wallet you can buy, and you don't just have to take my word for it, because there's over 30,000 five-star reviews. I was skeptical at first, but once I tried it, I will never go back. And guys, there's no pressure. Test it out for 45 days. If you don't love it, send it back, get a full refund. If you decide to keep it, there's a lifetime warranty. Click the link in the description to get 10% off today with free worldwide shipping and returns. Go to ridge.com/Chael. That's ridge.com/Chael and use the promo code Chael. Guys, here's where I want to start with. I want you to clear your minds of everything you know about the business of MMA. Everything that you know about the sport and the way that the sport is conducted. And the reason I'm telling you that is we're starting to see some shakeups. Let's shake the whole damn thing up. Let's tear it down if you want. Don't put yourself as a fight into any kind of a box. You got a team around you telling you this is what makes sense. Anybody says to you this makes sense, fire them. Even if you don't want to do it to their face, you don't want the confrontation. As soon as you say, well, this just makes sense, let that guy go. That's a red flag. You don't know what you're doing. If he ever brings up your ranking and or what an opponent is ranked, if he encourages you to take somebody on based on the ranking because he thinks it makes sense, block him. If he encourages you to not take somebody on based on a ranking, block him. Those are fools. That is low-hanging fruit. That is the stating of the obvious. Get rid of those guys. We are seeing a shakeup in MMA like I have never seen, and I don't know where it's going to go. This thing is either going to get nipped instantly, or we are going to be plagued with it and have to deal with it, and we're going to find out in the real short term. If you want to back up to what Dustin Poirier is going through right now, where he is a clear number one contender, everybody admits it, but he's not that interested in fighting the champion. That is fascinating. I do not predict for you that that's going to happen. I predict for you the number one contender will be fighting the champion, or he won't be fighting at all. That's what I would guess. But if I'm wrong, and if that door and opportunity opens, you are going to see a major changing, fundamentally speaking, to the way that this business is ran. We're seeing it up top too. If we can't get Francis and Gane in there together, if you have a number one contender who doesn't fight the champion, or the champion doesn't fight him, any way you want to do it, and that's exactly what those belts of undisputed and interim represent. If somebody calls out Gane and says, I don't want to fight Francis, I want to fight for the interim championship. Why do you want to fight for that? Who cares why the guy wants to? The guy said he wants to. Let's hear his case. And if Gane accepts the fight, John Jones steps in right now. John is terrified to fight Francis. We understand that. But it's a size issue. Most people are terrified to fight Francis. It's just too damn big. I don't think that John would be as terrified to fight Gane. Now, John doesn't have the sense that God gave Geese to come out and create this narrative and get this back and forth going. Francis doesn't want to fight Gane. Francis keeps acting like he wants to fight John. Francis is getting some real bravery because he knows that John won't take the fight. So he's calling for a fight that he knows isn't going to happen because the other guy already showed his cards and he's scared of it. Yeah, I get it, right? I've been to the show. I've seen the strings. That's what you're seeing going on there from a psychological standpoint. But Gane could come in, upset Francis, shake everything up, and get Jones's attention if those guys could just work together. And now all of a sudden, John's right where he wants to be. Big payday, back on top, got a belt around his waist. Everything's cool in the gang. It would be a very interesting direction to see it going in that way. I'm seeing Jorge Masvidal. You know where this is coming from? Masvidal, as early as today, was on Ariel Helwani's show and said, I will fight Covington at some point. Whether it's in the ring or it's in the streets, he and I are going to fight at some point. Why? Why stop there? Why make it at some point? And again, I know why. The way that we see MMA right now, you can only book one fight at a time. Says who? Show me where that rule is written down. Why can Masvidal and not Colby make a deal right now? We could even set a date. In November, Colby is going to fight Kamaru Usman. Why can he not sign a contract now and agree to fight Masvidal in March? Maybe it'll be a title fight. Maybe it won't. Either way, it's 5 rounds. Rules are going to be the same. Unified weight class is the same at 170. I need an opponent. You need an opponent. Why can't they agree now? If Masvidal is saying they're for sure going to fight at some point, why can't we agree to it now? What in the hell difference does it make? Who says you can't have 2 at a time? Who says that a guy who's a number 1 contender, which Colby is, can't go out right now and pick who he's going to defend against first and pick a date? I realize it hasn't been done. I'm telling you, we're in a different place right now. And if we have to start offering guys, if we have to start calling their bluff, because that's all this is, by all of them, they're all bluffing. Been plenty of chances for Masvidal to fight Colby. Did it happen? Rumors and the Ultimate Fighter. November of last year is the first time I heard these rumors. I only share that. Let's start calling guys on it. You say you're going to fight. You guarantee you're going to fight him. Let's pick a date. Well, I've got to see how he does with Usman first. Why? Why? You didn't say you're going to fight him if he beats Usman. You say you're going to fight him if he's the champion. You didn't say anything about that. You said, I guarantee I'm going to fight him. Great. Let's book the fight. That might ultimately be the place that we have to get to. And I don't understand it. I'm trying to understand it. I got to dumb myself down. I got to really dumb myself down. I came from the streets of Westland. It just didn't work that way. You just could not say you were going to fight somebody and then for any reason find a way not to and save face. No, you didn't have to go do every fight. Absolutely not. That's not how we behaved. That's not how anybody behaves. But you don't save face. You admit you take it on the chin. I lost. He got me. I aligned my troops. I talked tough. He did too. I thought he'd back down. He did it. He wins. It's one of those things. In this sport, we just move on and we just let him get away with it. And that is your guys' fault. You're the ones that let him get away with it. Well, it wasn't enough money, or he didn't have enough time, or his shoulder hurt. What kind of excuses are these? I could never imagine saying those words, but I also couldn't imagine being in your spot and accepting when somebody else says them. There are no rules in this. There's nothing that says Gane has to fight Ngannou. If there was something for sure that said that, aside from it makes historic accuracy, if there's anything aside from that, so why don't those two go fight somebody else? And if you're a heavyweight within division, why don't you start calling out Gane? Why don't you start calling out Francis? It's all fair game. If Poirier, the number 1 contender, doesn't have to fight for the title. Now, the champion has to defend against anybody, or he's a closet champion. He would be eligible to be stripped. Number 1 contender, that's not true. Again, for historical accuracy, you work your way up, you become a number 1 contender, and then you go and fight for the highest prize. But there's nothing that says you have to. And if you get a guy that's in Masvidal's spot, where you've already identified who you're going to fight, and you absolutely promise to the world it's going to happen, why don't we pick a date and why don't you guys sign a contract to fight? What difference would it make? It could only get better. Perhaps he brings the championship belt with him. Perhaps he doesn't. But just because Colby already has a plan with Usman doesn't preclude somebody else and Colby making an agreement.